Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. How you doing this morning? I keep saying that. Today. It doesn't matter what time you watch this. Maybe you're having a watch party. If you are, hi everyone. Hope you're all healthy, secure. We're going to continue on Tien-Tai from my book, Buddhism Reference. Still says volume 1 and 2 on it because it started out as 2 volumes, but I've put it all together in one now. Available as an ebook, hardcover book like this, or the larger, no, I don't think I did a larger version of this. I believe there's a paperback version, though. Okay. The subtle Dharma. One reality, one vehicle, many skillful means. Yeah, this isn't an invention of Nichiren, is it? That's why I often say we don't practice Nichiren Buddhism. We practice Nichiren doctrine, Nichiren enlightenment and insight and tools, and because he's our modern mentor. He's our bodhisattva. But we all practice Shakyamuni's Buddhism, more specifically his ultimate teaching of the Lotus Sutra. And I'm hard at work on the final teaching that came after the Lotus Sutra, the Mahaparinirvana Sutra. Struggling a little bit with the author of the particular translation I downloaded. I sense some old Theravada thinking in it, which is odd since it's such a thoroughly Mahayana book. I mean, it's in the title. Anyway, back to this. The Tien-Tai school's soteriological basis is based on the doctrine of the one vehicle, found in the Lotus Sutra. So Tien-Tai is completely, fundamentally bound to the insights and the ultimate teaching of the Lotus Sutra. There is, I have a couple of books on Tien-Tai, on the meaning of the Lotus Sutra, and somebody suggested that they might be interested in hearing about that. So that's a possible future series. In the meantime, Tien-Tai sees all the various Buddhist teachings, scriptures, whatever you call them, practices, as being part of a single, holistic jnana leading to Buddhahood. And it's crystallized in the Lotus Sutra. The discrepancies and seeming contradictions are only due to the fact that these various teachings are all, quote, expedient means, because they're taught to the facility of others. Until the Lotus Sutra was just taught to the facility of Shakyamuni Buddha. And that they're taught according to the different needs and capacities of sentient beings. Well, there it is. Just read the text, Elaine. According to GE, even though there are numerous sutras with many varied teachings, the intent of the Buddha is to lead all sentient beings to Buddhahood. Similarly, just as there are different practices, there are different ways to describe the same unified reality, i.e., emptiness and the threefold truth. Thus, Shi states in the Fa Hua Xuan, various terms name one ultimate reality. Oh, the Fa Hua Xuan Yi, I left that out. Only one ultimate reality is given many names. This ultimate reality is one yet many, many yet one. It is Many, because there are diverse phenomena that arise and perish dependent on causes and conditions, and it is one because all of this is equally empty. You might have to take a few moments to consider that. Appreciate that. I just did a short video on that. Anyway, indeed, Ji outlines 4 types of oneness. That's funny. The oneness of the teachings. All the teachings of the Buddha are non-contradictory and have one intent. The oneness of the practices, all leading to Buddhahood. The oneness of persons, all will attain Buddhahood. And the oneness of reality. And this is when I talk about the transparency rather than the solidity of thingness. See it transparently. See that flow of sparks between you and it. See your relationship with reality, not reality as a distinct other. The classification of the teachings, a very important aspect of Tien-Tai, yes? An extension of Tien-Tai's doctrine of the one vehicle is its classification of the Buddha's teachings into 5 periods and 8 teachings. This classification is usually attributed to Ji, but is probably a later development. This classification of teachings was also done by other schools, such as the fivefold classification of the Huayan school. Let's talk about the 5 periods. The 5 periods are 5 periods in the life of the Buddha, in which, according to Tien-Tai exegetes, he delivered different teachings aimed at different audiences with a different level of understanding. The 5 periods are: 1. The Avatamsaka period. For 21 days after his awakening, the Buddha delivered the Avatamsaka Sutra, one of the highest sutras, but this was not widely understood. 21 days, 21 days, he taught that immense sutra. Why do you think only 21 days? Listen to the time of the remaining teachings and ask yourself, why did he quit so quickly on the Avatamsaka? It just went over everyone's head, that's why. Number 2, the Agama period. For 12 years, the Buddha preached the Agamas, including the preparatory teachings of the 4 Noble Truths and dependent origination, right? The Nidana. That was very early teachings, and those were pretty earth-shattering teachings. They still have adherents today, poor things. The teaching, though it has the same intent for the capacity of you and I today, this world today, won't even move a leaf. It's just useless today. Sorry, Theravadins, that's just the truth. It's on your way to understanding the Lotus, but it is not the Lotus. It is not even equivalent. Its aim is the same, but its tools, its methods of practice, it's like learning the alphabet and thinking you can write a novel. No, you have a lot more study to do to learn how to understand grammar and all of that, literature, yeah? Third, the Vaipulya period. For 8 years, the Buddha delivered the Mahayana or Vaipulya expanded teachings, such as the Vimalakirti Sutra, the Srimaladevi Sutra, the Suvarna Prabhasa Sutra, and other Mahayana sutras. And you've heard me talk about the Vimalakirti, the Lankavatara, and others, right? The Prajna period, for 22 years, the Buddha taught the Mahayana Prajna Paramita Sutras, right? That's on developing wisdom. How do we experience this Buddha nature, yeah? And the final period, the fifth period, the you and I period, the Lotus and Nirvana period. In the last 8 years, the Buddha preached the doctrine of the one Buddha vehicle and delivered the Lotus Sutra and the Nirvana Sutra just before his death. So this is why I've already gone through the Lotus Sutra, heavily annotated and clarified with my publishing of the TLK Threefold Lotus Dharma Sutra, which you can get as an ebook, hardcover, or softcover, a large one. And I'm currently working on the Nirvana. So you and I are definitely in the fifth period of Shakyamuni's teachings, right? And now, let's see. Yeah, I've got time. Let's go over the 8 teachings. I know this is a lot in one video. I'm trying to get through as much as I can, but do you see now why this is such a lengthy entry in Buddhism Reference? Tien-Tai plays a heavy role in the scholarship, our understanding of the Lotus Sutra, and he informs much of Nichiren. Yes, Nichiren was a Tien-Tai scholar, as well as studying the Pure Land, all the other schools that were extant in his day. He debated them. He always came up on top, right? Made a lot of enemies doing that. That's why he was almost killed several times and banished twice. So the 8 teachings are a classification of different types of Buddhist teachings. They consist of the Fourfold teaching and the Fourfold method. And we'll actually review some of this in the Mahaparinirvana Sutra, so keep whetting your appetite for that one. It's no small task, so it's going to take me a while. The Fourfold teachings are called teachings because they are, quote, that which discloses the principle and converts beings, end quote. According to G, they are 1, the Tripitaka teaching, the Sutra, Vinaya, and Abhidharma, in which the basic teachings are explained. According to David Chappell, the main elements of this teaching is, quote, the 37 conditions for enlightenment, austerity, precepts, intellectual analysis of emptiness, the 6 perfections, and meditation. And the main view is the arising and perishing among the 10 realms of existence. Right? Moment to moment to moment. Life, death, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. Second, shared teaching, the teaching of emptiness, which is shared by Mahayana and Theravada. This corresponds to the first of the 3 contemplations and the practices of the 10 stages of the Bodhisattva that are shared with the Theravada. Third, distinctive teaching, the teachings of the Bodhisattva path. This corresponds to the second of the 3 contemplations. It involves practices summarized by Chi into 52 stages of the Bodhisattva, according to Chappell. Fourth, the last of the Fourfold teachings, the complete teaching. The complete and perfect teaching, which is beyond words and concepts, it can be found in the Lotus Sutra and the Avatamsaka Sutra. And I've had some requests for the Avatamsaka. We'll eventually get to that. This corresponds to the third of the 3 contemplations. According to Chappell, quote, the complete teaching moves beyond stages to see the identity and interpretation of all the various practices, ideas, and values based on suchness. You've heard me talk about suchness quite a lot. Buddha nature and the inconceivable perceptual process. Nevertheless, it also has its own set of unique practices, such as the 5 repentances. I don't know if I'd call them repentances. language, right? Next is the Fourfold Method. Should I leave that? Yeah, I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here. As much as I want to get done with this, I also realize its importance, so I don't want to rush it. We've already covered a lot of ground, so the Fourfold Method is where we'll start the next video, okay? In the meantime, you may need to listen or play back this video, or maybe you download the podcast and just listen to it. Really, or get a copy of the book and read it, reread it. There's a lot of meat to this that it may be under the moniker of Tien-Tai, but it really is, if you will, a more in-depth understanding of where Nichiren's coming from. As Nichiren does a lot of quoting from these sources, I put it to you that knowing a little bit more of where Nichiren gets his insights, and not taking away anything from Nichiren here, but it's a study aid in that as we read Gosho, and we read Nichiren's own words, especially when he makes reference to the Vaipulya, it's validating from a scholarship point of view, but it's also very eye-opening to ourselves to know how these concepts are built, that it didn't just fall out of the air. We're not just following the person, as Nichiren would say, or Shakyamuni would say. Don't follow the person, follow the teaching. And so, to me, this is following the teaching, understanding where a teaching stands on the shoulders of previous teachings, helps travel through our own mental path to our own enlightenment, right? Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your practice. If you can, some way, somehow, see your way to supporting this Sangha and this endeavor, this resource, the website, the bookstore, all of it, podcasts, so on. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. It's a bodhisattva act, and I want you to know how much I appreciate. Whether it's simply liking and subscribing, or if you can, Patreon, PayPal, even just getting an ebook. I know I say just, but every little bit counts immensely. And it's quite a cause for your own enlightenment, yes? And that's what this is all about. Increasing your confidence and resource. I don't want any obstacles to stand in your way, if I can help it. Comment where you comment, email me. I read everything, so thank you. All right, that's it. See you in the next one. Bye for now.